What's up, everybody? It is Coach Deep, your favorite dating coach, ethnic dating coach, the only dating coach for men of color. All right, and so I'm going to be talking about a topic here that some guys are blindsided by, right? But a lot of you guys probably are aware of this and really think about this on a regular, right? And it's something that you definitely need to be thinking about on a regular. All right, and I'm talking about feminism, right? Feminism is the cancer to dating, right? To modern dating, right? So let me break down what feminism was meant for and what it's kind of turned into, right? So feminism was meant as a form of equality, right? It was meant for women to be able to do the same things that men do, right? So vote, have jobs, go to school, things like that, right? And that's all great. You know, everybody should be treated the same, right? In society, legally, right? But what's ended up happening years and years and years later, right, is that now women have taken it too far, right? They've gotten their rights, right? The things that they should have been allowed to do, and now they've went overboard with it, right? And really, what I'm going to be talking about is how this feminism affects dating, right? What it does to dating, because there is definitely uh, a correlation, right, between feminism and dating getting worse and worse. You know, people are there's higher rates of divorce every year, right? Higher rates of people that are single, right? Higher rates of you know having kids out of wedlock. You know, all these things, right? All these things that are negatively affecting dating, right? So I'm going to be talking about that, right? Um, Really, been going on with feminism is women have been making demands at this point, right? What feminism again was meant to be was an even playing field for everybody, right? So if you're a woman and you want to go to school and you want to go be an accountant, right? You want to get a degree in accounting. You're free to do that. That's what that allowed, right? Just as much as a man could go do that, right? A man and a woman both go to school for accounting, right? And this is true with anything, right? There's always going to be someone who's going to be more skilled, right? Whether it's academics, whether it's a trade, whether it's athletics, whether it's entertainment, whatever, right? There's going to be people who are just more naturally gifted, or people who are just, for whatever reason, they're going to be better performers at the task or the job or whatnot, right? So let's say again, woman gets a degree in accounting and a man gets a degree in accounting, right? Maybe from the same exact college, right? They're the same exact age, right? Um, so what that's what feminism promised, right? And that's what feminism delivered back, who knows, back in the 70s or whatever. What it's now turned into is a woman goes to school, gets a degree in accounting, man goes to school, gets a degree in accounting. Automatically the woman wants to be the boss, she wants to be in charge, she wants to do all this other bullshit, right? Just because she's a woman, and because historically at some period women were not allowed to do these things. So now in this period, she's entitled to be in a higher position or be getting paid more just because she's a woman, right? And it's something, you know, I try not to focus too much on politics with my dating coaching here, but something also black people have been doing for a long time, right? I'm a real dude, right? I'm from right outside of New York City. I coach all over the country, but I'm a real dude. This is something black people have been doing for years and years and years, right? Claiming stuff that happened whoever knows how many years ago, right? And feeling that they're entitled to something higher now because maybe someone in their ancestry, someone in their gene pool was a slave. All right. So women have been doing this, right? Women are guilty of this, right? And again, this affects modern dating because let's look at it in a let's break it down on a couple different things, right? A woman gets a job, right, as an accountant. Man gets a job as an accountant. The women are making demands that, oh, we're women, we deserve to be in higher up roles because we're women, because there's underrepresentation, whatnot, and automatically a woman is picked above a man just because she's a woman, right? So she's getting more money, right? So let's say that this happens all around, right? In different sectors and different careers and all that, right? What happens, right? What should be happening in society? Because everything goes around, right? What happens in the job markets, what happens in the economy also turns around into social aspects of life, dating and stuff like that. So if women are making more money than men are, then they should be asking men out, right? Taking men out, initiating the date, setting up the date, picking up the dude, right? And taking him out, right? That should be happening then, right? But women still want that privilege. They want both. They want a best of both worlds. They want to make all the money, but they also want to be pampered and taken out, right? And this is what I tell my students, right? When you're dealing with females, right? Because I'm a dating coach, I help you guys out with this. You got to set boundaries. You got to set your own standards. All right. So this is one point about feminism and dating that's an issue, right? Next thing, right? In the dynamics of relationships, men have usually, in the past, been kind of the leader, the guy who the person who calls the shots, the one who kind of makes the decisions in the home, right? Um, Now with feminism, more and more women are doing that because of feminism, right? They feel as though they're going to wear the pants in the family, and yeah, this is how it's going to be, right? And I mean, two people in a relationship, they're free to do whatever they want, right? They whatever dynamics they want within the relationship, that's their business. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, if that is going to continue and is going to be widespread, again, it all comes down to money, right? Women got to start putting down the money, right? Whether they're making more money or not, if you want to be in charge of the relationship, you want to wear the pants in the family. Historically, when men have been doing that, they've been the breadwinners, right? So a lot of this, again, feminism that really, a lot of feminists tap into careers and economy and things like that, but not realizing that everything is connected to one another, right? Everything's in its own cycle, one cycle, right? What happens in the economy affects society in other ways, right? Um, so, I mean, again, what feminism was meant to be was great. I have no issues with it. But what it's turned out to be right now is complete bullshit, right? So, now let me talk to you about this, right? Let me talk to you about this. Um, we have there's two symptoms, okay? Well, not symptoms. I'm going to say there's two additional viruses that come out of feminism. All right, I'm going to call them viruses. All right, first one is passport bros. All right, these are men that are choosing to date outside the West. So they go out to Latin America, Eastern Europe, South Asia, or whatnot, right? And with the purpose of trying to meet women, right? We've all heard of this stuff. We all know what passport bros are at this point, right? Um, and really, it's happening because of feminism, right? Women, women are, again, they're wanting to take charge. They want all these. They're making demands and things like that, and men are tired of busting their asses and being not only providers but also now having to be a bitch at home, right? So the man is still going to be a man, right? He's going to have that instinct to be a caretaker and a breadwinner, right? So a lot of these guys, they think the solution to this is going out to Brazil or Colombia or the Philippines and meeting women out there. What they don't understand is a lot of these guys are really, IQs like, the brain sizes of a peanut. IQs are so low, right? What they don't realize is they're going out there, they're getting robbed, they're getting killed, they're getting kidnapped, they're getting tortured, they're getting extorted, they're getting ransomed out, right? People are calling their mothers and fathers and brothers and demanding money to release Tyrone or Ching Ling or whoever, right? A lot of guys, they don't realize that going to Brazil is not going to solve your dating issues, right? If you want to go to Brazil to have some fun, go for it. But going there to meet your wife, your future wife, hell no, you don't want to do that. So that's the first thing, right? That's one of these viruses that come out of feminism. Next is all this fake alpha male bullshit, right? So we've been having a lot of it for the last couple of years, right? We had Wes Watson. We have, who's this guy? Myron Gaines. He claims to be one. We got a bunch of them. We got a whole bunch of them who are claiming to be these alpha males, right? And again, complete and utter bullshit, right? They try to wear all these flashy clothes and try to put on this like tough guy stuff, shooting steroids in their neck and in their ass and things like that, renting out all these, sports cars and everything. That's not going to get you women, right? Women see through that shit, right? You're going to attract mostly gold diggers by doing that, right? By pumping it. All you're relying on is pumping yourself up, having a nice car, claiming you're making six figures, et cetera, right? You're not going to meet women like that, right? To meet women, right? To meet women, be successful with women, you have to be very comfortable with women and, again, set boundaries. This is something that a dating coach can help you with. This is not something that listening to Myron Shit Gaines, the African, or, hillbilly Wes Watson with all these tattoos all over his freaking face. They're not gonna listen to these guys is not gonna help you, right? They're just trying to sell their little alpha courses and they don't have any real experience. Cold approaching is a very masculine thing, right? It's been used forever. Cold approaching is one of the best ways to meet women. Online dating is popular nowadays, right? So you gotta be on top of online dating. Technology is the thing now, right? I'm getting through to you guys through technology. So you got to be able to capitalize and utilize technology, dating apps to meet women. All right. So true confidence. It doesn't need like all these rented cars and chains and fake alphas are just like insecure men, right? They're hiding right behind all this other bullshit. All right. For a lot of years, they also had a lot of these trends about black men. We were being pushed this. In media was pushing that black men are alpha, black men are alpha males. All I see is black men that are homeless, sitting at the bus stop, right, begging for money, right? They don't have cars, they don't have jobs because they're not masculine. They're pretty much like bums. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And that's not a trait of masculinity. That's not a trait of being an alpha male. All right. So a lot of what you've been pushed for years about masculinity and alpha male and all that has been bullshit. Right. So you got to fix your mindset. First thing you got to do, again, is fix your mindset. You need a dating coach who's going to help you with that. Right. Really, you have to look at women in a different way. Right. You have to look at women in a different way. And that's something I specialize in. Right? You bring you to the table, whether you have money or not, right? Whether you're riding a bus or you're driving a freaking brand new car, right? Whether you're a doctor or you're a manager at Walmart. If you are comfortable with women, able to communicate with them and have boundaries and set standards, women will fall for you every single time. All right? Looks maxing helps, right? All that stuff helps. But the main thing is, do you have comfortability with women? And are you able to communicate in a way with women that shows that you are a man, right? That you are the guy who's going to be in charge, right? So, Dancey Dating Coach, check my website at www.danceydatingcoach.com. Stay the fuck away from all this fake alpha male stuff, all this passport bro bullshit, right? I'm definitely anti-feminism. So you want a coach that's anti-feminism and is going to help you actually meet women in real life? Get to me. All right,